Renovating a 5-inch gauge sweet pea steam locomotive, part 13. I bought a bristle flue brush to clean the sooty fire tubes in the boiler. In this video I do that job first, followed by making a brass mounting flange for the replacement injector water valve. There are a few different ways to make this fitting, and the first attempt definitely shows how not to do it. It would have been easier to make this part using the lathe and machine the basic component using a piece of brass. I wanted to show the job just using small workshop tools. On most miniature steam locomotives, you would clean the fire tubes from the front end, then all the dirt falls down into the ashpan. But this boiler is different, it's a marine type boiler and it's easier to clean it from the firebox end, because nothing's in the way, like in the smoke box. I bought this from Blackgates Engineering. It is a bristle flue brush. I prefer these to the brass type brushes, which can be difficult to push through the tubes, and also they do scratch the copper slightly. One thing that is quite important when cleaning fire tubes is to make sure that the handle of the brush does not contact the inside surface of the tubes. The bristles are more than sufficient to clean the soot from the tubes. I've shortened this sequence because it did take quite a while. Now the job is finished, there's a fine coating of soot in the firebox, on the cab footplate and in the smoke box. I'm using a vacuum cleaner to get rid of all this, and now I'm refitting the door. A short while ago I went to Blackgates Engineering to buy some of these. They are stainless steel laser cut spanners. And this is what they look like after some treatment from my small bandsaw and 1-inch belt sander. Personally I find them very useful, especially because they have ring spanners on the end. This is a special live steam injector made for me by David English of Jubilee Fittings. I wanted injectors like this a few years ago for a 5-inch gauge Sterling single, because they were very visible on the model and I didn't want the usual hexagonal type. That is the only difference between the normal Jubilee Fittings injectors. This is a number 4. In this clip I'm disconnecting the water pipe from the saddle tank to the original injector water valve. Now I need to make a fitting to hold the new water valve to the footplate, and I did this in 2 stages. This is take 1, definitely the way not to make an injector water valve flange mounting. Before I go any further, this particular sequence is completely the wrong way to do it, so don't follow the directions. I found a piece of brass angle that was 1/8 of an inch thick, and in actual fact it's a little bit too thick for the job. On the second attempt I got it right. Mistake number 1. Here's a good tip: never cut the part first. Work with the part on the parent metal, there's more to hold on to. I cut the piece of brass angle and ended up with this. Now it's time for mistake number 2. It's not a good idea to draw around the part with a really big and clumsy felt tip pen. Sometimes you can get away with it. I'll show a better way of doing it later on in this video. And now already it's mistake number 3. I cut the part to almost its finished shape using my bandsaw. There are 2 things wrong with doing it this way. The part is now a funny shape and can't really be held successfully in a vise, and it's small, so therefore when I drill it, it will get very hot. And already I'm on to mistake number 4. Because I cut the piece of metal, I don't have a suitable datum to get the position right for drilling the holes. Here are the injector parts on the bench, including the injector, and the water valve with its handle. You must never hold parts in your hand on a drilling machine. This drilling machine is small and not very powerful, but very shortly I will show what could happen. I'm only using a centre drill and already the part is getting warm from the friction caused by the drill bit. This is a very small twist drill. It's 9/64 of an inch diameter, which is clearance size for 4BA, and the part is really getting hot now. I know I'll use some WD-40 to cool it down. This, by the way, doesn't work. It doesn't cool it down, but it does make the drill cut slightly better. Mistake number 5. The drill bit can grab the work and spin it, then you risk injury. Health and safety warning: I staged this for the video by releasing my grip on the work. I made this happen by releasing the pressure on the work with my fingers and moved them out of the way very quickly. It's a much better idea to hold the work using a pair of pliers. That way if the work does come loose, it just hits the pliers and doesn't cut your fingers. The only bad thing about this is the pliers will mark the work. It would have been a much better idea to leave the part in its entirety as part of the angle before I started. But that is the whole part of the exercise. I staged the entire thing. Take 2, an improved manufacturing sequence. This time the job starts by using a strip of brass, which is, I do believe, 3mm thick. And the first thing I need to do is mark it out properly. So I'm using a felt tip pen, not marking out blue. This just dries quicker and it's more convenient. Then I accurately place the original water valve in position on the piece of brass. What I need to do first is scribe a centre line so I know where I am on the piece of brass. And here's the centre line, more or less in the right place. Then all I do, as previously shown, is hold the original part on the line. I can see when it's in the middle, so I draw a ring round the middle and rings round each end where the holes are. This gives me an accurate template. It's worth mentioning that the holes in the original part are not exactly where they're supposed to be, but I need to compromise, because the holes for this water valve are already drilled in the footplate. Here, using a steel rule and a bit of measuring, I'm checking that the part is going to be accurate. A few of these sequences are running at 400% just to get through them, because you've already basically seen this. Instead of spotting the brass with a very small centre drill, I'm using a slightly larger one and going through. This will ensure that subsequent drilled holes are in the right place. This piece of brass is actually harder than the brass angle because it's taking a bit more effort to drill the holes. I turned it over for 2 reasons. One was to squirt some WD-40 on it to make the drilling a bit easier, but mainly it was to dissolve the felt tip pen mess that's on there. All I have to do now is wipe it off with a cloth when I've finished drilling. You can clearly see that the drilled areas are getting hot. There's some smoke coming from the holes, but it's not affecting me because I'm holding the bar right at the other end. And here, believe it or not, using a hand drill, dare I say, I'm drilling the centre hole out to 5/16 of an inch in diameter. The drill bit won't fit in the drill press, so I use my small Bosch, very useful electric drill. Now is the time to mark around the part and cut this out on the bandsaw. I'm not going to follow this line to the letter because, as I mentioned earlier, the original fitting isn't 100%. I'll modify it so my part is a bit better made. And here is the completed component, and I've bolted the water valve to it. It's looking good. That's it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.